Hello and welcome to episode 16 of our Timberborn 1.0 full release playthrough with the Folktales faction on the Down the Plughole Maps Cycle 23, Day 9. Last time we did a little bit more work on our dam construction, and we did a decent bit of stuff with automation that a lot of you seemed to like, and a couple of you gave me ideas on some good improvements. And we tested a few of those in a recent live stream with the Iron Teeth, so we're going to kind of redo this. And then the multi-step processes like the treated planks and all that are going to have their own automation solutions as well. But we still have plenty of other things to take care of. We also have in this area our Tunnel of Fun. And someone reminded me that the relics need to get harvested. And I think I replied to that person saying that it should just automatically get taken care of. But I wanted to check and make sure that, I hadn't accidentally clicked the wrong thing that would just cause this to disappear without getting science. But it seems like this is fine. On Demolition, we get 200 science here, 200 science here. And that is, that's about the size of it. So, they're working on it. They are going to get injured. Those two guys did just literally get injured right there. But in due time, this will be taken care of. We shouldn't have to worry about it. So before we dive into automation, I did want to take a little bit closer look here. We've got this terrain block is going to get put in place, and then they're not going to be able to access this. But they will once we get the rest of this stuff built up here. So why don't we, since we are already in a decent spot, just pop in all of these blocks from the far side out here, so that it should, in theory, be impossible for these guys to get stuck. Because each of these relies on the one behind it to be built before it can be constructed. And then, of course, we'll get everything else taken care of here. But that will take time. We're going to leave that alone. Let's come back over here before I forget how to do what I thought I was going to be doing. So there's a couple things with some of these setups that have been done incorrectly. And we are going to have to redo those as a result. But to give you an overview, roughly, of what we have going on, each of these things, these buildings, are supposed to be producing things when they have a supply to draw from and space to put their finished product, and at no other times should they be operating, which is why I had this set up here, where the plank log availability, once it's, actually got logs in stock, then it can start making planks. And then when the plank storage gets pretty full, then it'll shut off, because both of these conditionally are tied to this relay that I named plank factory status. There we go. Tongue twisters on a Sunday evening when I'm recording this. And that's all well and good. However, there is a very good chance that at some point all of the plank factories, there was no L in the word factory, my god. Moving on. There's going to come a point where these guys just keep ticking on and off and on and off and on and off and on and off. So the way to prevent that is with a memory module. And this does get a little bit more complicated when you have other stuff that goes into a recipe besides just, a single component. But for this lumber mill, and for the gear factory, and for the paper mill and all that, we should be able to achieve this by adding two things. The first thing is to add another resource counter that is going to then trip stuff on the memory module. But the way I have this laid out here, it's not going to fit. So what's going to happen is I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to just completely get rid of all this automation right here and find a different location for it to go. Which, I'm not really too happy about, because I kind of liked that stuff being there. But it is what it is. We are going to figure out somewhere, maybe we could even build a nice looking thing and have some sort of other thing attached to it. So let's just start from scratch here. And because we have a lot of empty space around here, we can kind of tier this depending on how we want to do things. I guess that scrap metal probably doesn't need to be there either. We can get rid of that. Let's just lay this out with starting resource counter. We're just going to go based off of planks. We need something that the planks require to be made, which is logs. We need a counter for the storage fullness. We need a third counter for whatever level we're going to turn off production entirely and cause it to loop back. Then we need a relay, the AND, which, depending on how we want to do this, we don't necessarily have to have all of this in the same exact spot, but I think for the sake of me having, you know, some sort of memory of what's actually going on here, I should put all this in the same spot. You put the relay here, and then we're going to unlock the memory, because we have not done that in this playthrough, and we're going to put that right there. So this is our input, like I said, if I can remember where logs goes. And I think 5% for something like logs, 5% is probably too low. That was something a couple of you suggested, so I'm going to go to 10%. Remember, our total storage capacity for logs is over 7,000. So maybe it's not that big of a deal, but if we cut it off at 10%, then that's going to virtually guarantee we are never going to run out of logs. Assuming we have enough coming in from all the logging camps, which we should. So, if that's set to 10%, we're going to rename these properly once we have everything set up. The output for the planks, of course, is planks. And we want that to turn on, because this is set to measurement of... Actually, it's not anything, because it's not connected to a path. But this needs to be less than 95%. Or actually, we could change this to something else, but I think this is probably fine to leave it 95%. What this one's going to do is this is what's going to trigger the reset scenario. It still needs to be planks, and I'm going to have this be... I think in the testing I basically confirmed that it doesn't matter whether it's an equals or a greater than or equal to sign. But I'm going to put it in as an equal 100%. So if plank storage is ever completely full, then that is going to trigger the reset on this memory. But before we do that, we need to get these relays in place. So that needs to be an AND. This needs to be automated to the relay. And the B needs to be automated to this. So the starting condition of can the factory run is controlled by this and this, which turns on this relay. And then what's going to happen here is this memory is going to switch on when the factory operating condition is ideal, which is the output of the relay. And then it's going to reset or switch off when this thing turns on, which is going to happen when plank storage becomes completely full. So all we have to do is just hook that up there. And now that that's done, I'm about 99% sure that's exactly what I did before. Let's just rip that Band-Aid off. Get rid of all of that. That was log storage fullness. That's to automate the lumberjack flags, and this is to automate the mine. We're not going to touch those, but the rest of these can go bye-bye. Alright, now we change what these are named. So, this is going to be planks. Logs available. I know I'm changing it slightly, but planks logs available. We'll call this planks capacity. I just forgot what I was going to call it. Capacity available. That's fine. There we go. No E on the end. So we have logs available, capacity available. This one will be planks storage full. That's what resets. This is going to be, instead of, there we go, planks with an L. This is going to be planks, not dactory, factory. Okay. Now we have logs available, capacity available with no E, storage full, factory okay, and this is going to be planks factory on. Maybe that'll confuse me, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure this means that the factory is okay to produce, but this means the factory is actually producing. And it's all named planks, so we know what it goes to. I sincerely hope that this is actually, you know, correct. Now that it's connected to the paths, they're going to come and build it. We're going to see what they can get themselves into here. I don't know exactly, but we're going to find out. Just need them to come and build this. From my memory, that is what we did in that live stream. By the time most of you are watching this video, it'll be a couple days ago, but as of recording it, it's yesterday for me. So, that's for a single component going into things. For double components, like stuff, the wood workshop that has the planks and the pine resin, there's a lot more that has to go into it, but it's not crazy complicated. It's just kind of a lot to set it up the first time. I really thought they were going to do this faster than they are. They're probably all focused on getting this tunnel cleared out. Which, you know, in fairness, I did tell them to do that. Yeah, they're going to deprioritize demolition anyway, unless I manually force them to go in there. I guess they're all just, they're just playing in the dirt. Well, that's fine. That's always allowed. While we're here, because somebody brought it up in the comments, trying to figure out what I'm doing with all the clean water that's going to be on top of this once I get everything separated. And I had the thought that I was going to have the clean water also just spill over. I don't know if you can see it super well. We have these natural dams right here. I was going to have the clean water just spill through this and then be funneled down into this same channel to go out. But then somebody said, well, why don't you have it go through this this little tunnel here where the power is going through eventually? And, you know, I do like that idea. I'm just kind of concerned about coming in after this dam here. So what about if we kind of borrow a little bit from real-life reservoirs, which will have, they'll have the big earthen dam or a concrete dam if it's a big enough thing, that just holds everything back at all times except for a little spillway that is off to the side for normal overflow, and then when it gets super crazy omega full, then the bad things happen and the dam can fail. But if you're generating power with the dam, like if you ever have seen videos of how the Hoover Dam in the United States was constructed, that's just the first one that comes to mind for me. Maybe you've got one you're familiar with from your area. But they send overflow water into this series of chutes, tunnels, etc., and then it spins turbines that generate electric power based on the water movement. So we could, in theory, do something similar, maybe not with this exact setup, the way I'm thinking, but when the clean water gets full enough, we could send it through a different tunnel, through some water wheels, and then out to an approved discharge location, which could be up here, or it could be, you know, coming down through here and then straight out that chute. We have some time to decide, but I figured I would bring that up and give you guys a chance to provide some feedback on it, based on what you think is best. Remember, as I always say, I've said substantially less in this series, but it is a let's play, not a watch me play, so I do value your input. If I can, you know, reasonably incorporate it, I'm going to try, provided it makes sense. But let me know your thoughts on that. I think now is probably a decent time for us to get rid of these stairs while they're going to sleep or whatever. This reserve pile is not something that needs to move yet. It might not ever need to move, but I just wanted to make sure that was not on the level that I needed to take that away. We have another drought coming in, so that could be a good opportunity to get beavers down here, do some tunneling and all that. We'll see what happens, but I do want to... I don't want to see what's happening with this. Okay, so let's hit pause just so we can look at this without anything changing. This is what we just put in. We see that the log availability is active because we have more than 10% of our log storage. We see that plank capacity availability is active because we have not yet filled storage. We see that plank storage fullness is not active because the storage is not full. That's exactly correct. We see that plank's factory OK is active because both of the conditions are also active. And we see that the plank factory on memory cell is active because this is active and this is not active. So now what has to happen is the planks have to be automated to this memory cell, the factory on. And that is what I'm going to do here. See if I can actually access most of this. I'll peel back layers a little bit. Yeah. That's going to be planks factory on. And the same deal here. We will see... I maybe should have numbered these instead. Because now I want to click on the thing that's, you know, at the very bottom, but that's not what I want. Alright, so now these are going, and I have manually paused some, but the rest that have been automated, and I think there might be another one somewhere. This one that is no longer automated to anything. That I just kind of have it going forever. Maybe I'll pause this for now. We're going to see, before I build too much of the rest of this, we're going to see just what happens when this gets completely full. Now, these will... I don't know why I had to pause there. These will turn off before this turns on, unless... No, there's no unless there. I'm trying real hard, folks. I really am. The factories will turn off before this ever has a chance to turn on, unless we demolish stuff and recover planks. So in theory, there should never be a scenario where this has to trip constantly. It should just go once, turn off, and then not turn back on until we get storage. I think... Okay, now I'm not going to try to explain it because I know I can't do it. It made sense in my head, and then I opened my mouth, and then you know the whole ancient wisdom of it's better to keep your mouth shut and have people think you're stupid than open it and remove all the doubt. Yeah, that's about where I am right now. But I genuinely hope that this is actually the right way to be doing this. We will see. That is not what I wanted to do there. We will see what happens. For now, I want them to come in here with all of this dirt, get this filled in, and then restore the original contouring of this dam one level at a time. So we do have this reserve pile here. I don't actually remember if this was completely symmetrical across, but that's probably how I'm going to put it back in as we get in there. But that's going to give them something to do. See, now I'm having doubts about this again. I feel like I probably still did something wrong. Anytime there's multiple layers of logic, there's just so many things that can go horribly wrong without you knowing it. Because I feel like... Because if this isn't going to reset until this trips, then it basically will never turn off. But it should turn off if this gets to 95%, then this will no longer be active, which should mean, in theory, this would turn off, but we haven't... Okay, there's an easy way to check this. We're at 60%. Okay, so that just turned off. And this is still on because it has not yet been reset, even though this is no longer active. So I guess... Oh, no, that's okay, because then this will only reset when it gets to 100%, and it's not going to stop producing until it gets to 100%. But it won't turn on unless... It won't turn on again unless the storage is below this. Okay. So maybe... Okay, that's exactly what it did. That's exactly what it did. Okay, because I changed the values. If this is less than 100%. So basically what I did by doing that is it's never going to turn on because it's set to less than 100%, and it's always going to be less than 100% if it's currently off. Alright, so if I put this back to equals, that'll turn off. And then when this gets below 60%, that'll turn on, and then this will turn back on. Okay, so you know what? I was psyching myself out for no reason, because that was actually the completely correct way to do it, and I just didn't understand. Well, that's why I do these videos the way that I do them. But now we have a drought, and I have a need to get these guys in here much more than playing with automation. So, what we did last time is we had this set up. I basically confirmed I don't need to have that there. But now we need to probably start the process of getting this filled in. So, see, I feel like I don't need to have too much storage here. I was also going to have a little cavern for pumping badwater that I was going to do down here. That maybe I should focus on building that instead. Yeah, because I'm only going to need a little bit. I don't want to be pumping badwater here necessarily forever. If I want this to be covered, I think that's going to make the most sense regardless. So why don't we come back to that later, because the hardest part, as we discussed last time a little bit, is going to be connecting all of these things. I say as I'm showing nothing. This tunnel right here needs to actually go somewhere else. And I think probably, maybe not the easiest way to do it, but the way that is going to have to, the way that's going to have to be done, I think, is just to have this go straight through here. Because I want to have a lot of clean water up here. We'll just tunnel straight in. If I'm going to have this be 3 blocks deep, which I think is what I decided I was going to do. Is that what I decided I was going to do? I don't remember. It had to have been 3, right? Because that's this height. Okay, I guess it doesn't really matter for that height, but if I'm going to have it be 3 here, this is, what level? Okay, that's on 2, we'll call that. So I need basically every single block of dirt. I guess I'll go 5 wide all the way back to where it meets up here. So that means we're going to have a kind of expensive setup here. Now this is all going to be, yeah. Okay, I'm going to hit pause. Thank you for bearing with me here. I'm trying my best. That's going to be doubles, doubles. Doubles here. Everything else has to be taken care of except anything here can be triples. All the way back, 5 wide, which gets us to, yeah, which gets us to here. So everything else we're going to cover over with dirt so that this is completely separated. Everything else, this level or below to this thing, needs to be a tunnel. And you can technically start from the bottom and go up, but I don't think that is going to be the best way to do this. So I'm just going to cause this to be a huge pain in the butt by doing it this way, but it's the only way I really know how. We'll give ourselves something to do. This is already... Okay, that's way higher. That was way higher. That's going to be fine. Okay, so that's where a badwater comes out there. I obviously can't tunnel under this. Where's that tunnel? Okay, that goes out to here. Now that, coming this way, can easily be like this. Let's do that. Get this all the way over here. Make sure that's not going to cause any problems. We can't go too much further this way. But then that needs to, on this level, meet up to here. Yeah, so that's... Something tells me the 2-wide tunnel probably isn't going to be enough for this. Especially if we have that source, we have that source. Well, it's actually only 2 there. That should be 3 strength, and that should be 2-ish. Which makes me think this really should be a 3-wide. That does have to go around here, so I understand that. Let's, yeah, let's just do... Sorry, I'm so non-committal on this. I'm trying to avoid breaking through here. This is not High School Musical. The stranglehold that franchise had on everything as someone who was in high school when High School Musical came out. Man alive. Okay, that is gonna fit here. I'm just gonna have this go straight the way off to this side, and then this is going to... No. It's gonna go to there. I really should install that. I think it's Timber UI or something. It gives me the locations on these things, because now the mods actually work. Okay, so I know that's going... I think this is what's going to get me exactly where I want to go. And... oh, yeah, look at that. Alright, so if that's going to be triples, and this is going to be triple wide here, then there we go. That could just go like that. Just like that. Beautiful. Well, it's objectively not, but for our purposes... That'll connect this tunnel, which will flow down to this level. And then this has to connect over here, assuming we want to do things quote-unquote the correct way. Remember that this is the top level of all of this. So I'm just, for making this easier, doing it this way. These tunnels probably only need to be 1 block deep, but these here need to be substantially deeper. By doing this... No. By doing this with these tunnels like so, we're going to maintain accessibility for the beavers that are going in here. They can just walk all over stuff, and then we can remove all of the platforms without destroying anything, because remember, dirt maintains its integrity as long as it is any given block is within 3 blocks of a support, which could be terrain or another platform. And this is 5 wide, which means that will basically always be the case. That's going to go there. And then that means here, I do appreciate you, bearing with me with this. When this is done, it's going to be pretty cool. And it will have plenty of storage capacity. Assuming we can meter the output well enough, I think we're going to be pretty happy with what we have going on. Okay, so let's just bring that up to here. That needs 4 more. Alright, so that's 3 blocks deep. That'll go all the way through here, and then we can fill in a little bit more. This, obviously, is a tremendously huge, just unbelievably involved building project. But it's episode 16. We got at least another 14 coming. You already know that. So to get this built to some degree of quickness, what I'm going to do is pause the tunnels that are directly connected to the badwater sources and build everything else up to that point. Let's have that pause, that pause, that pause. That means I can send beavers in here basically this entire time and nothing bad will happen. Asterisk appended to that, of course. Yeah, I just need to find another access point, because I don't want to just, come down through here. This is going to be kind of unavoidable to a certain extent, so how we're going to kind of solve that is exactly what I just said. By pausing this, I can send these guys to this kind of interior section without anything bad happening. We just have to make sure we have these paused as well. And then we have to remember that we paused these. That's where you guys come in, because you're watching these videos. Yes, we have 3 stacks of 5 there. Or I guess technically 5 stacks of 3 if you're going by what a stack actually means. That should keep whoever's working in here relatively safe. I'm going to give them an access panel probably right about here. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-ish. 9 up here. If I go to this exact spot and drill straight down. I don't have ladders. That's right. I'd have to make a staircase. Okay, new plan. Remember, there's a very good reason why I have the game paused. let's do this. Let's make see, I hesitate to just have so many stations everywhere, but it really is going to be the faster way to do this. So that has to be at least this close, but I have to be able to get into it. So I can't really do that because it's going to block things. That's very inconvenient. Okay, so maybe I lied. Maybe I am just going to put pylons here. Oh boy. That'll be accessible from here. Let's just get this there. I guess they can continue working on most of this. But I want to get them behind this thing, which honestly is probably going to require me to build stairs anyway. How far? First of all, let's get this connected. That's going to go there. This is the one that connects to this side of the industrial thing, and there's storage for all these materials under there. Actually, except dynamite and all the other stuff, so that's probably... See, this is how nothing ever gets done when I'm trying to make stuff. Because I want to be able to connect to this zipline station because that's connected there. Why don't we do this? Station here. No, it's not going to fit there. Not going to fit there. Not going to fit there. Why am I like this? I want this to be... See, this is also why these videos can be really frustrating to record. What am I going to do about this? I want these to be close enough where they can just go between them without it being that big of a deal. And I think in some way I've kind of actually made this substantially worse by just dilly-dallying. Okay, that doesn't quite reach through here. How close? Okay, that goes through which... Oh, come on. Let me click on this. Okay, that goes through those two blocks. Is there some way I could get this to just go direct? I'm thinking it's going to tell me no because of this stack of ruins here. Yeah, this isn't a good spot for it unless I was able to get this to go up and over, depending on what we're doing here. I know I can build that if I put that there. That is... Can actually go steeper, really. Okay, well now let's try... Okay, that seems to be out of range, but why is this... Okay, so that is too steep. Well, I tried. That's going to go there. That's going to go there. This... Oh, just barely. Just barely isn't going to reach. Let's try this. Is that... Oh, I have my fingers in the wrong buttons again. Oh, it's further? Oh, come on, man. Well, I'm just gonna leave this here. That's still in range. I suppose I just have to put one of these here in kind of a dumb spot, but here's what it is. Okay, that's going to get me over here where we are making dynamite and we are storing, well, we have some dynamite here. Does this have a direct connection down here? It does not. Unless they come over here. See, whenever I do something like this, that just it just identifies a lot of problems that I hadn't previously considered, and then you get scope creep, which you know, not exactly something you want with a very, very long, involved, complicated project. Anyway, so that's gonna get us here. There, you can transfer there, they can go there, then they can go over here, and I'm still going to have this hooked up with a path because that's how it works. And then finally, yeah, I'm gonna have to put in a station. I'm just going to have to. And it has to be in a place where I can actually get a path past it. Yeah, so that's going to go there. I know it's not the full extent. It's fine. It's fine. Just get that hooked up there because, again, they have to be able to build it first. My main gripe with the zip lines, but I guess it makes sense. Get these guys past here. I need to get them right past this spot. Which, seeing how close we are, this is probably okay just to leave it in this spot and just be done with it. That's going to go there, then we can start going down. Now, this is actually going to have badwater going through it, so I really should have made sure this wasn't going to be flooded up here. Tell you what. I'm going to maybe do a dumb thing, but I'm going to have this go across this way. Do 2 5s instead of do 2 4s. I think... Yeah, there we go. I'm like 90% sure it's going to be safe at this level. It should be. Then get to right above the tunnel. It shouldn't really be possible for there to be bad water coming up here, because that's going to spill there. And come around. Maybe it'll get on this level. But I'm pretty sure going right here will be fine. So, after all that, man, I've been paused for like 15 minutes. If I go in this spot here, I have 1 tile on this level. That's probably actually the same one. 1, 2, 3, 4. No thumb wars detected. 5. Okay. That's going to be our entry point, and I'm going to have to kind of monitor this. But that will hopefully... Did I do this wrong? Yeah, okay. That'll hopefully do it. And again, I have to build a staircase here. So I will need to have a 2x2, depending on how I want to do this. Tell you what, let's do this. Let's have that be a 1. We'll have that come down, and then those 3 go. We have quite severely complicated this. But I think it will be worth, long term, will be worth it. That should allow them to do basically everything here. And I know we only have the 9 days for the drought, and that's the maximum length of the drought, so this is our best opportunity to do it. But I think we can actually make a decent bit of headway. I do want to get as much of this blasted out as I can in advance, which that will still be possible if I just run this down here. We can start with the tunnels there. They can come in from the top, or they can do something else. Let's actually move. That's going to be... Can't go past that. I know this might seem kind of dumb to do it this way, but it's going to be probably about the best I can do. Probably about the best I can do. Just need to be able to get up to this bit. Then this, some of it is going to be annoying, but it's the way it goes. Let's just bring this all the way up here. Bring this all the way up here. And I probably, in all honesty, just need to have this actually connected. Now, you might be saying, why didn't you just put another zipline station down there? well, we only have so much, the way of resources, and it's gonna be a thing. I need to make sure that there's... Oh, there's no power. Of course not. Because there's no anything. I should have done this differently. But I didn't. So, we're going to have to... Do I even have somewhere I can hook up extra power to? I could just put a regular power wheel in there. I admittedly did not plan this super well. We have 107 dynamite. We only have another 7 days. I'm not really anticipating that this be a super successful endeavor during the drought anyway. But 107 dynamite should be about enough to do most of this that isn't tunneling. And the tunnel can always, you know, get finished later. I do worry a lot about scope creep in these episodes. Obviously not nearly enough because it happens constantly. But you just know, I am thinking about it. And I'm not able to stop it, but I am thinking about it. Okay, so this is on, because we... Okay, I did say I was going to continue to evaluate this. We will be using a lot of planks. So, you know, it's good that we have 2,400 already. The gear workshops have been de-automated, and there are 2 of them running right now, but that's okay. I don't think we need to mess with that so much quite yet. Everything else is just kind of going. The paper is completely full, which is fine. Books are going to go until they're completely full, which is fine. Punch cards are completely full, which is fine. Power-wise, this is actually charging because we have so many windmills and we have the geothermal engine, so that's good. I think we can feel pretty okay about that. So we have our zipline station already. That's nice. We have this here, and then I think probably it's going to make more sense for us to build another station over here. I just didn't have a great place to put it. Just need them to come over here and we can build our little spiral staircase. I'm going to have that spiral staircase go all the way to the bottom, although it might have to be modified slightly depending on when we get the rest of these tunnels in place. That may end up being a little bit of a pain in the butt to do. Yeah, you know, now the more I think about this, the more I think this is going to be a problem. I'm going to put a staircase here so that they can actually access this back corner, because they're not going to be able to otherwise. I'm going to need to put in a platform on this side so they can walk around the hole as it is built. Otherwise, we should be okay. Maybe. They have started putting this in here. That is fine. That is why that was there. That's... Oh, alright, well, that's embarrassing. That wasn't connected, so they couldn't even use this. But now they can. They just bring all these materials. I'm going to have storages, at least some, to get through here. Again, there's really not very good places to put anything over here. If that's going to be where that comes out, this could be a good spot to put in a couple of things. Let's caper kaboom. Make that a triple again. So that's going to be the hole. It's going to come out somewhere. It's probably just going to be luck of the draw what side it comes out, honestly. I could plan that, but that would take me too long. I don't have any dirt left, and the dirt is not coming out because I only have one beaver working this. We might actually need to put the rest of these beavers back in here, because I do have technically some extras. I just need to have some sort of construction stuff right here. That's going to block the hole off, so I have to put that there. You already know what that's getting connected to. It's going to be totally fine. Just save us a little bit more. Once again, I am not happy with this, but it is what it is. I just need to have... Extract is probably not our biggest problem, but it is going to be annoying to have that be super far away, so we'll just do that. And then I need probably a decent sized plank storage. That's going to be annoying to put there. I can't put the underground unless it's underground, which this should be obvious from the name. Maybe this isn't the best spot for this. This is not the best spot for this. That is going to get moved. You know, by the time I get this figured out, there's not going to be any what do you call it? Any time left. So if that's... I don't want that to go there because I want to put a large storage thing. I'll do that. So that's going to be double. That's going to go there. This will be a large pile for planks. Set to obtain. And then, you know, dynamite is... dynamite's its own mess. But I probably honestly just need to have a small one. Okay. Okay for boom. I realize now that if I'm going to actually, you know, do this, I'm probably going to have to just blast the rest of this out. I'm going to put triples again, which means I don't need this, don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. Then I also don't need this, 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 or that. We'll just go one more after the triple, and then I'll build this down to this level. Maybe. Maybe, because I'm going to want to be able to get off at every intermediary. Ugh. We'll see. We'll see what happens. What else have we done here? Okay, they're working on that. That's okay. I think I probably would rather have this taken care of. So that's done. This is... Actually, I should have had them go up here to do this. A lot of this is probably just going to end up being done from this side coming out this way, eventually. I hope this makes sense. I really do. We'll get there. We got 3 days. We got 3 days left, and I haven't even bothered to check if this is going to flood. Well, I guess we just have to do this part, and then maybe they'll just stop going down here. So I do need to make sure I have this dynamite in place before, you know, we run out of dynamite. But I don't know that they're going to have this done in time or not. Not one beaver is bringing items for this. Should I be concerned? I think maybe I should. Yeah, because I'm gonna run out. I'm gonna run out. It doesn't say I don't have it yet. But I think they're just, I don't know, maybe they're just preoccupied with all these things first. We haven't gotten to that part yet. All I can do is wait, and I hate waiting. Obviously. It just continues to be kind of a problem. At least food and water are looking okay for having 128 beavers. Alright, it's planks coming for that. We got... Still waiting on logs for these things. Oh, I should have had that set for extract. There we go. Well, this is very quickly turning into a non-entertaining episode. This... I guess is fine. It's, you know, we're making progress. They're not in the tunnel, are they? No, although they've actually made a decent bit of progress coming through here. That's alright. Oh, come back over here. Maybe they're going to have... Nope, they don't. But we have this. Okay, good. Here comes the dynamite. That, at the very least, is something that we can be pretty happy about. Just get that stuff finished. Come on. Come on. You know you want to. You know you want to do it. Just come down here and finish it. It's just waiting. There you go. And we needed one more just to get that done. Let's make sure that gets prioritized before the dynamite gets consumed. And then we have to have the staircase put in, and this is where I think I've made a mistake. Because the spiral staircase on the 2x2 has no room for landings. So what might have to happen is these guys might have to go all the way down, and then I have to make some sort of upward thing from the downstairs. Which I guess is fine. You know, there's not really a wrong way to do that. It's just going to be slower. 1 day left. Okay, so that's... At least that's done. I've got this. I can K for kaboom. And I can K-for-kaboom to that, and I can K-for-kaboom to this as long as nobody explodes. Alright, that works. Maybe I shouldn't have exploded that yet because they could have done these on the side. I don't know. I don't know. I think at this point I've probably played with too much fire. That is the very bottom level. Okay. So now I just have to have... I guess probably this way is going to be the way that makes the most sense to get this locked and loaded in here. And again, because it is a 2x2, I do have to do it this way. This bottom one can be a triple and be fine. But then everything else has to be 2 2s. That's going to go there. Okay, yeah, I've got enough space to do another rotation here. And that will go... I can actually flip that. And go that way. Oh boy, we've made an ugly thing. Okay, well that's fine. That's going to get them all the way down. And then when they get all the way down to the very, very bottom here, I will be able to probably some of these tiles just go straight up. In fact, I'm going to prioritize this one for going up, that one, this one for having room to go up, and then that one, and then this one for having, yeah, room to go up. That should be fine. Let's get this whole thing. I know we are no longer wanting these guys to go down, so let's take this path away. They're going, you know, they're going to finish taking this stuff out here because that's how it works, but... Oh, actually, I forgot they could still get on this. As soon as they finish their predetermined assignments, they will stop doing that. And then hopefully nobody else dies. Or nobody dies at all because nobody's died yet. I don't know why I said nobody else. Alright. But now I've got to keep watch over all this bad water coming out here. We probably should automate the rest of those things on the new setup. But now I have become, for better or worse, irrevocably tied to this project for the next however long it takes to finish this episode. I don't really get to pick what my brain focuses on, unfortunately. If I could, then I'm sure I would have achieved so many incredible things in my life, but it just doesn't work that way for me. Let's see. I'm going to, you know, I just said I wasn't going to do, I'm going to do it. So I need to do gears. 3 of these. We need the relay, and we need the memory. Okay. So I'm going to copy the settings. I honestly should have just duplicated. No. You remember that video of the cat? That was in some sort of, I'm sure it was in some sort of like horrific distress, and it's like not something that's that funny, but it was a cat that was just like, no. It was a huge meme, like a long time ago. Anyway. That needs to be the same as this. I guess we'll put it at 10%. This needs to be for gears. This also needs to be for gears, but that's the gear that equals 100. This is the gear that is less than 95. Come on. There we go. That's that. That's that. Then this is a set reset. I already forgot how I did this. Planks factory, okay, which is that. Okay. Come on. And then the reset's that. Okie dokie. So that is planks logs available. This is going to be, yes, grassed gears. Greers. I cannot type, and I don't know why. Planks available. And then this is going to be gears, storage. Why does that fit? Oh, because I put capacity available. Well, guess what? This is now named storage. I don't know why I didn't just do that the first time. Plank storage full. Gears, storage full. This is Planks factory okay, so this needs to be Gears factory okay. And then this is Gears factory on. Then we just get that hooked up there. Then I suppose I need to have these gear workshops automated to that. Thank you, lag. Gears factory on. Now remember what I said last episode or the episode before about maybe putting a secondary stage to activate different ones of these? That is a level of complexity that I don't think I want to mess with at this point in time. I just want to let you know I haven't forgotten about this. But I do need to make sure this gets taken care of as soon as I can. Okay, so they are down here. They are blasting. Oh, this has actually made some decent progress. I am impressed. Alright, so this can safely be removed. And then I can put in a regular staircase. And then I need to have a landing there, which means that needs to be done, I guess? I guess I might have accidentally done the wrong ones here. Well, it's fine. I just need that to go there, and then I need to be able to get up one more from this spot here. See, explosives now should actually be able to be made. Okay. Probably should have a second explosives factory in all honesty here. Well, we got somebody in here working on it, so, you know. Every 3 hours we get one more dynamite. We're definitely running out. But it's alright. Now, one kind of undesirable thing that's going to happen here is there's going to be little pockets of bad water. Oh, no, that connects. Never mind. That'll be okay. Won't be perfect, but it will be okay. So that's connected there. That goes all the way up, which means I can safely get rid of that. There we go. And that has to be a staircase. After that, the rest of this will take care of itself. To a certain degree, I will still have to, you know, put path down. But they can work on this. Basically indefinitely, with no monitoring. It's just going to be kind of an annoying thing, but it is what it is. Let's get those prioritized by haulers. We need some more beavers. I did say I was going to make more housing, and I still have not done that yet. See, this is, it's operating as designed. That is fine. So that takes up 5 spots. That takes up 5 spots. I maybe should have blasted this out, but I don't have anything else. I've got 1, 2, 3 spots here. 4, 5 would get me to this corner, which I guess is okay. Yeah, I should have moved it over. Why are you doing it this way when you could? No, look, it's going to be all right. Don't worry about it. So I might make more sense is to just kind of leave this alone and build something else down here for the paper, so on and so forth. But as things stand now, I think this is okay. I know we still have a lot of work to do. I'm going to unpause this wood workshop because, well, we do need to keep making wood. 3 hours to make a single plank. Remember that the mine is consuming those. Here it is. Every 3.6 hours, it consumes 1 treated plank. This one can make, because of how many beavers I have working there, this can make a treated plank in 3 hours. So, assuming all else equal and we're not using those treated planks for anything else, which we might be, I don't remember, we're not going to run out. But we do need to make sure we keep tabs on that. Alright, so this is a hive of activity. And they're just gonna do their thing. We'll not worry about that anymore for this episode, as tempted as I will be to try and fix it. So, we got a lot of storage space for stuff, which can make it very difficult to determine what is actually working or not working, but the lights that are supposed to be on for this configuration are actually on. So I feel kind of good about that. It's just these multi-step things become somewhat complicated. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to add another one for the paper mill, and I'm going to do another one for the printing press because the printing press only needs paper. The punch cards have 2 ingredients. The treated planks have 2 ingredients, so those can be in another spot. But I'm just going to put those probably right about here. So, our favorite thing, B for duplicate, because duplicate is definitely something that uses the letter B. I'm just going to get this here, and then we'll just change orientations for that. Same thing here. Why don't you remap it? Look, if I remap it, then I'm going to forget I remapped it, and then I'm going to get mad when the default keybind doesn't work. That's... Trust me, I know how I work here. So now, these aren't going to be connected. It's not going to matter. But this, to make paper, takes logs. So we could, in theory, prioritize planks over paper by raising this threshold a little bit, to where this is only going to turn on if the logs are at, say, 15%. I don't think we're going to have that problem, but just so we don't get too cocky here, we're going to say paper logs available. You know, I probably didn't even use the same... Oh, that is exactly what I said. This is going to be storage available, paper storage available. And this is going to be storage full. This one is going to be paper factory okay. And this one's going to be paper factory on. Now, of course, this does have to get changed from plank to paper. Fortunately, we know how to do this because there's pictures. And now this has to be... I already figured out what this connects to. Logs available, storage available. Okay. And then that goes there. This goes to here, and this resets to here. So that's... We got planks, gears, paper, and then this is going to be books, which, of course, use paper. So we'll call this books, paper, available. And this will have to be set to books. We'll call this books, storage available. Change this to books. There you go. Spell it wrong. I think we can change the color of this too. Maybe. Maybe it doesn't matter. Or is it just the relays that can change color? Okay, I'm gonna confuse myself if I think too hard. Okay, so I need that, I need that, then I need that, and then I need that. Okay, that should, in theory, be fine. That's 95%, that's 100%. Okay, we're gonna call this books factory okay, and then books factory on. Okay, there's the color. We want this to be red because that's a bad light that you don't want to come on. So if the bad light turns on, the bad light needs to be red. And then the factory OK can be green because green means go. At least in most societies I'm familiar with. And then factory on probably should be changed to... Oh, I can just type any number in here that I want. Or any hex code. It doesn't have to be a number. But I think that's going to be the best way to do it. So I appreciate you guys humoring me and suffering through my psychosis with the automation. I do genuinely believe that this is a good thing worth doing. I just, you know... I just have a hard time dealing with this stuff. And I know probably me continuously apologizing for it is going to irritate a non-zero quantity of you guys, but I do feel compelled to do that. Okay, so we have a red light. The red light says the book storage is full. So, There you go. The book's factory on, I don't think has a conditional color attached to it. No, we could, theoretically, use an indicator to do that. But that just seems not ideal. Okay, so we just saw this change in real time because the book storage was no longer full. That red light turned off, and then it got below 95%, which means that turned on. The green light, indicating the factory is okay to operate, turned on. And then, as a result, the factory turned on, which is what that light does. That is very satisfying. That should be worth all the nonsense we've gone through. So I appreciate you guys, keeping me honest with this stuff. I think it's paying off. Remember, that's what we do on this channel. We don't give up. We keep plugging along, insanity or not. I'll put stairs here because that'll look nice. And we get the job done. That's what you got to do. Just keep on going. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to look at this again, but I do want to... Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, looking good. So, obviously, as they continue working on this, we can remove any of the planks that come in. But I just want to make sure that wasn't flooding. This is all looking pretty okay. Yeah, that's, I guess, technically filling up. Now, what we can do, actually, is if we want to have this full during a drought, what we can do is we can attach the throttling valves. There we go. To a weather station, which will allow us to, at any duration prior to the season changing, change the state of the throttling valve. We could even close them entirely when we're in that state between a temperate cycle and a drought. And then during a drought, we'd have to do a little bit of complicated multi-weather stations with relays and whatnot. I think I'm a little more comfortable trying to figure that out. Not today, because we're already out of time. But I think I'm a little bit more comfortable trying to figure that out, where that could have a timed, measured release, and then, of course, on a temperate cycle or a bad tide, then it would just open all the way back up. This is your chance. This is your chance. If you're in the comments and you know that me trying to do that is going to result in a disaster, this is your chance to let me know, hey, you're going to mess that up. Something bad's going to happen. Well, I guess if you're invested in this being a success with no disasters, then that's what you do. But if you're an agent of chaos, then you can elect to not say that. I don't know. Do what you want. I'm not your dad. But I do appreciate you guys and your input on that. So, yeah, this is exactly... Oh, this is so cool with the red. Oh, it's like that meme of somebody's got like a plushy character or whatever, and they're jingling keys in front of it, and it says entertainment. It's like, okay, yeah, all right, I know. I'm a little simple-minded. But this is cool. This is cool. The red beans don't go, and the green beans... Look at that, it just turned on. Oh, I'm having too much fun. That means I gotta stop. But this is about the time where I do need to end this episode. I appreciate you guys. I know I say it all the time, but I really do. The folks on screen, hey, here's a drought. We can do that next episode. Take care of more construction over there. But they make this channel possible. They really and truly do. A substantial part of the revenue of this channel, to use business terminology, is from people directly contributing on the YouTube members, and there's a few folks on Patreon as well. But they smooth things out, so I don't have to worry quite so much about, oh, what happens if I don't upload videos for a couple of days, or what if I keep uploading Roller Coaster Tycoon that almost nobody wants to watch, but everybody who does watch them really loves those videos, and I really love making them, and I don't want to stop. It's that kind of stuff. You guys have been so supportive, and you've made so many great things happen for me and people I care about, and I don't think I'm ever going to be able to say thank you enough. So I can at least put your names in every video, and I can acknowledge it, and I can irritate the heck out of people who are tired of hearing about it, but I don't care. I appreciate you, whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day. Stay safe, have fun, and we will see you back again soon for more of this series and a couple of other things as well. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.